All right, everybody, welcome to Keeping It Real. And I'm here with two of the biggest legends in street and club dance culture and hip hop culture. Buddha Stretch, Mop Top, and then we have Mr. Wiggles, Rocksteady Crew, and TC5. How you guys doing? Electric Boogaloo as well. My bad. How you guys feeling, man? Thank you for coming here. It's an honor to have you guys in Red Deer.
Thank you for having us.
And just sharing your story with us guys. How are you growing up in New York City? You're from the Bronx, and you're from Brooklyn. How do you guys got first into dance?
Yeah, music is a part and parcel of our culture. You can't grow up in New York City without music. It's impossible. Music is prevalent throughout every aspect of New York. So, I mean, that's why I tell people when they come to the city, you really want to experience the culture, you got to come to the city, because then you'll randomly be walking down the street and get hit with a beat.
Yeah.
From different kinds of music. It depends on what neighborhood you're in. So, that's part and parcel of our growth. So the dance comes with the music.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, you guys been working with a lot of people in the industry. Like, at what point in your lives, you knew you were going to do this professionally? Like, let's say from, dancing in the streets or in the clubs, and how do you knew that transition? Like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for a living from now on.
At no point.
At no point?
We had no clue.
No.
Still pitching.
At no point.
We had no clue.
I say that all the time. If I could go back, if I went back and I talked to my young 14, 15-year-old self and said, you're going to do this, my 15-year-old self would punch me in the face. Snuff. Easily. Like, get out of here. You out your mind. Like, yeah, it was at no point in time did I ever think this was going any further than me dancing in the club to get some girls. That was it.
That was the motivation.
That was it.
So how you guys, obviously you are more of a well-rounded dancer from Brooklyn, but mostly in the clubs. Is that correct? Or do you consider yourself a street dancer or a club dancer, or just?
Well, here's the thing. From my perspective, those two things are the same thing.
Yeah.
People say street and club dance, but nobody that I knew that's a street dancer didn't dance in the club. Mm-hmm. The two are mutually inclusive. When we say street dance, it's just, we mean what's the actual term is vernacular dance, meaning it's not made in the studio. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean we literally always dance outside. It's all club dance. It's all club culture. And I think that's what gets lost. That's where the dance really grows. It explodes. It's not in the streets. The streets are a metaphor for the overall culture, but it's club culture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When we talk about street, we really talk about the parks.
Yeah.
When we do literally say street, it's when they close the street. Like, we ain't randomly. I mean, there's people that will misinterpret that we just dance in the middle of the street. They close the street. Moms and pops gets the license to close the street.
Yeah, that's
to
a
throw
block party.
And the streets are closed, so we're not getting threatened by trucks and cars and shit. Right. So we do dance literally on the street. Right. It's a block party, but we're really in the parks. And and street is like a term of saying that we come from an urban background or from life on the street. When people that relate to street life are going to relate to the good and the bad, The bad. So.
That is great, man. Yeah. So two of the dopest crews you guys are on, like, people don't realize here in Red Deer, and then now they're about to find out, but you have Mob Top, and you have, Rocksteady Crew, TC5, Electric Boogaloos. When did those crews became like this? When did you guys meet each other, and did you guys battle it? How was that exchange?
Well, it was before that. You know, I heard of Stretch way before all the commercialism. I think I always tell the story. I heard a rumor of a kid named Stretch from Brooklyn was going to battle a kid from Stretch from Lower East Side, right? The LES.
Yes.
So they say, yeah, they're going to have this battle at Washington Square Park. They said it was going to be at Washington Square Park.
Yeah, it was supposed to. Originally we had the battle at the Roxy, and he called me out because he said, you can't have the same name. Like, since I didn't break, I wasn't specialized in breaking, and his specialty wasn't popping. We couldn't battle directly. So he had me battle his poppers. And I told him, okay, I'll battle all of your poppers. I'd already battled one of the guys from his crew. So I battled another guy. So once I beat his boy, I said, okay, now you got to battle my boy, my crew, my man Powerful.
Damn.
And it was supposed to happen at Washington Square Park. But of course, it didn't show up. God bless him. But he didn't want that smoke afterwards. But that's where that comes from.
That's crazy, man.
The funny thing is, the first time that I ever saw in flesh Wiggles was at the Beat Street audition.
Oh,
1983.
The Roxy.
1983.
At the Roxy.
The Roxy.
I wasn't even
He
born.
and Harry Belafonte and a TV crew were interviewing him and Pop Master Fable. And they brought the TV crew over, and Wiggles turned his back and just leaned on the wall. And Fable's doing the robot, and Wiggles is just like, nah, I ain't got nothing to say to you. And I'm laughing to myself because I'm like, damn, he's not going to dance? Like, he just let Fable do it, and he's just like, nah, I ain't with it.
Yeah, that was a big. Now that was battles all over the place. That audition was just a big ass mosh pit. It was battles everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's a term in hip hop, you know, you're earning your stripes. Like that comes from that as well. Like as well as an MCing and, you know, tagging and writing. That term applies to that, right? Like to earning your stripes in a battle or in a cipher, getting people to know you. Is that what the term comes from?
Pretty much. I mean, what people don't understand, and I'm sure Wiggles can co-sign this, is back then you didn't just battle once. You didn't get in a cipher once and people gave you your dap. It had to be continuous. If you were good 1 week, heads was like, okay, see you next week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You had to maintain that.
It was all rivalry.
You know, you had to maintain that. You couldn't be dope at one point. You had to continuously show to gain those stripes. Otherwise, nobody's giving you. People would be like, he got lucky. You got that day, or you had your people with you. You had to continuously do this all the time for people to actually be like, okay, he's nice with it, or she's nice with it. It's a continual thing. You didn't show up one day and then people would be like, oh, he's tough. No, your people in your block did that, but people in other blocks be like, man, that's nicer than you. He did this, that, and the third. So you had to continuously show and prove, not like now where you make a video and people, you get 1,000 likes and people are like, oh, he's dope.
Hire him for judging. Times gotta change, man. So I wanna like, I'm picturing in my head. So let's say Brooklyn and, you know, and the Bronx come in one spot. Let's say the Roxy. Do you guys knew that was gonna happen?
There was no Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan.
No,
that's all fictional. Never happened.
Really?
Nobody cared about boroughs and cities. You just went to the Roxy, and if you saw somebody in a circle, you called them out. And
it wasn't.
It wasn't like a territorial
thing.
Myth, and that's internet, Facebook instigators that are just trying to create. Never happened.
So you're there. You know you're fresh, and then all right.
Well, first of all, nobody knows where you're from.
Okay.
Nobody's walking around advertising, I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
This is true.
You know, people knew where you were from based on what you did, not how you looked. Because fashion was fashion. You know, back then, you didn't have specific fashion yet. You know, heads tried to dress fly, and you knew who was fly. You know, if you went to Harlem, you seen heads that were fly. If you came to parts of Brooklyn, you seen heads that were fly. If you went to the beach, so you wanted to be like the fly guy. it wasn't a specific area that was fly. Everybody, you knew who was fly. You wanted to be like that.
Yeah.
So nobody knew who you were until after you showed and proved. Then heads like, yo, where you from? And oh, I'm from such and such. Then oh, okay. But it wasn't like, oh, I show up in all Brooklyn gear and that's the BX and that's all of that. Nah, that didn't happen.
That did not happen. That's great. So like talking about fashion and talking about like being fly, I feel like it should be an element of hip hop. Like, always looking good, matching your hat with your shoes. Like even me before I spoke English, when I started learning, when I started breaking, I knew I had to look good. And then you look good and you rock better, Do you guys feel like is missing now? Like it is getting lost? I see a lot of people showing up to battles online jamming sometimes. I'm like,
nobody ever said there was just 4 elements. That's just the correcting the media term.
Right.
So when they came out with BAM came out with the 4-element concept, it was to correct the media on 4 specific elements.
Okay.
There's so many, we all know, especially in New York, there's a crazy amount of elements, and fashion has always been one of them. And you got to come out fresh and, put on your gears, and you got to stand out. If you don't stand out, and it's true. I believe that the gears help make you look fresh and dance better. So
yeah. Also, if you went to a block party or to a club and you weren't fresh, I don't care how much dancing you did, no girls are gonna they're not gonna rock with you.
There's a whole nother purpose.
You're not looking fresh,
they're not gonna rock with you. Like, so you looked fresh more than just for the dance. You looked fresh for the the moment.
Yeah. And I asked this because I live in Canada. I live in Red Deer, and then obviously with educating the youth in the community and here in Red Deer, but I want them to hear that from you, because how important it is you don't show up to a battle, to a jam, looking like you showed up yesterday to the class. And I teach that to my kids, my own daughters. Say, okay, you're gonna go battle, you're gonna go dance. Make sure you look good. Make sure you look presentable for this jam.
The funny thing is that going back to the whole thing about club culture, you couldn't get in a club dressed bum.
Oh,
right.
You couldn't show up in a club
you come out bummy and you don't got a girl with you.
You're not coming in.
You gotta have a girl with you to get in.
You're not getting in.
We had a habit of walking up to girls just to get in the club. Say, yo, you going to the club? You coming with us? And then you had, because if you was bummy, you were not getting past that.
Getting in the club, yo. And that's a thing that I try to explain to people about the whole backpack situation. We had backpacks because we brought our clothes to dance in with us. That's why we had the backpack on. But to get in the club, you had to be dressed.
You got to be.
So we had to come dressed, and then you took that off and you put on your clothes, depending on the club, which you were going to dance in. And even that had to be fly.
Right.
And then you sweat that, and then you go back and you change to go home. I'm not going home. If I'm going home from the Roxy at 4 a.m. in the winter, I'm not going outside in wet, sweaty clothes. That's pneumonia. I'm not making it. You know what I'm saying? So
we got gears, man.
Yeah, you had to, there was a reasoning behind the whole movement, but again, you had to be fly to even get in.
That was why I used to wear the shirt in my back pocket. It turned into a towel later. I was known for the extra shirt. It was always out my back pocket, because you sweat, then you got your shirt in your back pocket, you change shirts, and then it later got popular with the towel.
Yeah.
You gotta have extra gear.
That's great, man. You told us a story yesterday about how wigs, everybody full circle come around and, say, I'm gonna battle, I'm gonna battle this cat. And then he's like, okay, and that was you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about?
Oh, that was the funniest shit. When I was talking about when I got the name Mr. Wiggle.
Yeah.
So when scene TC5, Rupert, black scene, there's 2 scenes, Richie and Rupert. Richie's Italian, also great, and then Rupert from TC5.
Yeah.
He gave me the name Mr. Wiggle, when he saw me dance. But, what I'm telling you was the funniest shit, because, I'm wrecked the whole time. Everybody knows me as wrecked, TC5. But when something happened magical, when that name Mr. Wiggle with the goofy little skinny kid face and my moves, when it all connected, it's like the base of a pyramid hitting the point. I literally blew up overnight when they put the name with the face, with the dance. and you knew your name came full circle when you go someplace, you go to a jam, and the kid be like, I know who could smoke you. I'm like, who? And they go, Mr. Wiggles. I'm like, get him. Bring his ass here. I want to see him. And the crowd is laughing and shit.
That's
and you
hilarious.
knew your name was full circle when somebody gonna tell you that you can smoke yourself.
That's hilarious, man. That is an awesome story.
That actually happened. And it happened literally like a couple of months after I got the name Mr. Wiggle.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great, man. That's a great story. It's funny. How about Stretch? How do you get the name Stretch? I know it, but
Same thing. It was given to me. It was a DJ friend of mine. We were practicing in his house, and one cat said, "I stretch like a slinky when I dance," and we had, dance names. My boys, my best friend and first student from junior high school and high school, my man Danny, he became Prince D. My man Craig, who was from Queens originally, he became Snake. So my first dance name was Slinky. And then you had Prince D, Snake, Slinky. Did not work. So after about 2 weeks, I was like, that's whack. And then recall where I got that from was he said, I stretch like a Slinky. So then Prince D, Snake, Stretch.
Nice.
And then I was like, that was the crew then, but prior to that, I didn't have a dance name. It was, a description of how I danced.
right. Well, Stretch, man. That's a dope name.
Yeah.
That is great. You guys work with a lot of people in the industry, man, and like it's inspiring because I can relate to that because coming from nowhere, like growing up the way I grew up, and and for me to be able to be sitting in here in a different country, sharing what I love with my community, but you guys are obviously in another level. How is that for you to be able to work with these huge names and artists? Like for example, Michael Jackson. You choreographed Remember the Time for Michael Jackson. How was that experience for you?
I always say is one of the best experiences in my life. But the funniest thing, people think like working with artists is so great. But for me, sitting with him is great. I watched him at the Beat Street audition and watched him in the Beat Street movie, watched him dance in Wild Style. And now I've been teaching and traveling with him for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We have a different outlook on why. Like you talk about the artist, which that's the epitome of choreographing for Michael is the highest honors. And we've all worked with artists. But we have a different vibe when we dancing with Pete and we with Sam.
Exactly.
Like there are Michael Jacksons, so for the dancer, we're looking at it a little differently. It's a job, we take on these jobs and we're excited and we'll work with these artists. And then the reality hits when we're back together on the road or when we see each other or when we finally met Don for the first time. That's our Michael Jackson, man.
Yep.
When I met Shabba-Doo, like these are the guys that we spend our whole life trying to copy or emulate or want to ask questions. Like we met Michael or we met, work with a few artists. We're not asking them questions.
No.
But when we get with like Shab or Don or
God bless
Sam,
that.
God bless.
Yeah.
We're asking, now we like fanboying, we're like fans, like what made you do this, man?
Yep.
Like, so I agree with him,
That's
I mean, don't get it twisted. MJ is MJ.
Yeah.
Artistry is working with artists is a beautiful thing, but that ain't why I did it.
right.
That's the icing. The cake was meeting the people that inspired the dance in the first place. Like when I think about Michael, most people remember Michael Jackson from Thriller and stuff. I remember Michael Jackson from the Jackson 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Now you're talking a whole nother era because
Way back.
honestly, who was the best dancer in the Jackson 5? It wasn't Michael. Who was it? It was
I think it's Jackie.
It was
I think
Jackie,
it's the
right?
oldest brother.
It was
he
the
did
oldest brother. The
Temptation.
choreographing, all the
time.
we
Yeah.
always knew that Michael was not the best dancer. I mean, in our youth, that
Right.
it was Jackie, right?
Yeah, I think it
That
was Jackie.
he was the best doing the Chicago style step in and So
Yeah.
we were always waiting for him to dance. You know, the word was he made all the routines.
Yeah.
And he taught Michael
Right.
how to dance. So we were always waiting for him to dance as a kid.
Yeah, it's just that Michael was Michael was the biggest fan of James Brown. And so everything he did, he was trying to be like James Brown. And, you know, the Jacksons, they grew up with Motown. So Jackie is trying to be like the Temptations, and, you know, and then so seeing them like back then, you're fans of that. And then seeing Michael on Soul Train, you know, doing the robot.
As he got older, he
you know.
started taking over the dance floor.
Because he went solo, right? At one point, at that point, did he already went solo?
No. He's still in the Jackson 5.
Okay.
He didn't go solo till later, but still, in all of their performance, Michael's the lead singer. So he gets to go off script.
The only time I knew him go solo back then was Ben, when he did Ben.
Yeah, he did the
movie
one
Ben.
solo song.
He did a solo song called Ben, a slow jam.
Yeah.
That was like a
For the movie
big song.
soundtrack.
And
For that
then
movie,
he did the what was the other album that he did in the
Off the Wall.
Off
Yeah,
the
but
Wall
that
album.
was later. Yeah, he did Ben.
Nah,
That
it was
only...
Jackson 5.
Yeah, that was
We
the
grew
crew,
up
bro.
on the group.
They was
Y'all
a
grew
group.
up on Michael. We
Yeah,
grew
we
up
grew up
on
with
the
the
group.
Yeah, man. The original boy band.
Yeah, man. They were amazing, man.
This is incredible, man.
Yeah, man. So it's incredible to meet, you know, but in my mind, it's like, that's Michael Jackson. That's a whole nother level.
Yeah, that was.
You know, like I can't really relate to Michael because Michael's been famous since I was a little boy.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, that's a whole nother thing.
That was the epitome right there.
You know, but meeting Don, when I met Don Campbell, I was tripping. Well, God bless the dead, Greg Campbell. Because I remember when I met Greg, I was at a freestyle session and they were having a locking contest. And I was judging the popping contest, and we had already done the pre-selection, so they were doing the locking. And I'm just on the side dancing because I, you know, love the music and I love locking. And he comes and tells me, you should join the contest. And I'm bugging out like, oh, shit, this is great. That's great. Campbell. And he was like, you're pretty good. And I was like, thank you, but, you know, I don't, you know, I'm just hanging out, listening to the music.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, I know something about us, and I know exactly who you are and what you know, and I'm thankful.
Yeah, Greg.
And he was like, oh, okay.
Man.
You know, and then I met Don the week after that at B-Boy Summit, you know. So to meet them and watching them from Soul Train and just like, damn, like
Don was the king.
And then to sit and listen to those stories of them being on Soul Train and Don touring, you know, with his own record and his own crew before the Lockers and
Don did it.
you know, all of that, you know. And then for popping, you know, I went to high school with a cat that was from Watts, and all he ever talked about was Poppin' Pete. That's all he ever talked about was Poppin' Pete. That's Poppin' Pete. That. And then to meet Pete and to dance with Pete and like, this is the dude that I heard about.
Wow.
And then to see him in breaking, and then now I'm in the same room with this dude all the time. That's the big bro.
There was a rumor of Pete even before we knew, before the movies.
Yep.
And they were calling him in New York
Pistol Pete. Yep.
Pistol Pete.
And he was from Rhode Island.
I didn't.
They didn't even know what. They was like, Pistol Pete from Rhode Island did this, he did that. So I was using my imagination to picture what this guy could possibly be doing. And then he said he slid on his knees. He slid on his knees. So I get on my knees and I just did the backslide on my knees, right? And I'm thinking he's gonna whoop my ass when he meet me because I'm doing this move. And I did it in B Street and I did it in Kennedy Center on. I said, he's gonna whoop my ass, this guy from Rhode Island. Then Sugar Pop said, no, that's Pete from Poppin' Pete from Electric Boogaloo, California. I'm like, really? He showed me the video of Pete doing the ET, and that was the knee slide it had. The relief in my face that this dude is not gonna kick my ass. You mean I'm free? Like I really made a move, but that knee slide was based on the rumor of Pistol Pete, Poppin' Pete.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, man. That's
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's so crazy, man. You guys got stories for days, man. Oh man, like if you will go back in time, is there anything that you would change?
Nope. Always say that. If you change then, you change now. And if I changed then I'm not here now. I'm not doing this now. I don't know what I know now. I might not have my kids now. I might not meet my wife now. So I would never You know,
I
if you
would
change that.
prep the little Wiggles to get ready because we were not prepared how
Mhm.
big hip hop was gonna be.
Yeah.
We
Not at all.
didn't know it was gonna like. I would have probably took the business more serious back then.
Mhm.
Like try to really figure out what they were trying to get out of us because we had no idea.
Yeah,
We were
it-
saying yeah to
organic.
everything. We were like, we'll do it. Yeah, yeah. They were giving us plaintiffs. We go now. I'm like, man, the ball was in our court back then.
Yeah.
We could have got a lot more.
More.
I can imagine what they were getting. But I do agree, like, you know, the bumps and bruises of dancing in a business, that experience, we needed it, you know. Now we
Okay.
created our own circuit and we're consistent more than when we were kids. You know?
Yeah. Well, and it's getting better and better, bigger and bigger. Like, yeah, man. Like for me, I feel like if I don't know. I have mixed feelings with this, but I feel like if we could go back in time and then not document like I mean, yes, the way you guys grew up dancing and all that, but I feel like another one would be like having an actual how things happen, you know, with the community, the hip hop community in New York and in LA and all of that. So it's not so much confusion out there at the end of the day. You think that would be a good thing to have, or
I mean, it's always nice to document things, but there's always going to be arguments about things because people always see things. You got to realize that there's perspectives. You know, I've been in the same place with the same people, and they remember entirely different things that happen.
Yeah.
And so the documentation is nice, but it's still perspective.
Yeah, there's a lot, and you got the internet. So the birth of the debate, the ongoing bold cap letter debates, and then people that coming out of left field that gave up on the dance all of a sudden have a say, but they miss 20 to 30 years of progression.
Yeah.
But yet they want to tell people, you know, about unimportant aspects that probably that should have been just left, you know, hidden. All of that, man. They're looking for a wedge, man, and the wedge is between our hard work and dedication to the art form and putting it in a spot where they can't even discuss it. They're creating all these little wedges, man, between us and the student, us and each other, us and what they consider the OGs, you know, even dancers before us. All these little wedges have been placed there and strategically by people who, you know, missed the boat. They just didn't stick with it. They copped out of it too soon before they can reap the benefit. So, you know, we're dealing with that now.
Yeah.
On the internet.
One of the funniest things on the internet for years is dudes used to argue with me about him, saying he was better in the 80s than he is now. And I'm like, how?
He's with the Electric Boogaloo's, man.
What? I think, you know, classic Wiggles is way better. I was like, how could you say that? What are you looking at?
Mr. Wiggles can walk out right now. He walks with style, bro. He doesn't even have to do nothing, man. He looks fresh.
It's mind-boggling to me because I'm like, yo, if you look at a video of Wiggles in the 80s and then look at a Wiggles in the 90s,
allow me to
different
have my
people.
progression, man.
Like you're not giving this man any credit for all of the shit that changed.
Yeah.
And you know how many people bit off of all of his shit?
Yeah.
Not from the 80s, from the 90s.
That's some funny shit, man.
Dudes used to literally argue with me online about that. And I used to be like, you know what? I'm not. That's why I stopped arguing with people.
It's easy for people to
stupid.
argue online. Like,
Yes, that's the whole point
When
of
you have them
the
here,
internet
it's
is
like-
about arguing now. It's not
It
about
is.
information.
It's crazy.
Not about
Not about information. I mean, dudes used to, are you bugging? You know, and I'm like, okay, I'm bugging then. I dance with him.
Yeah,
I know him.
We're
I'm
together all
actually
the
from the
time.
same city he's from. You know, I was there. You're from West Bubble Hell, and you watched the video. You know, you watched his VHS tapes, and you telling me that Wiggles is better than Electric Boogaloo's Wiggles? Really?
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They won't allow your progression. They won't. They don't want to see your. They want their memories to overrule everything. It's like they want to be the author of what took place in their time, and they want their moment to be more dominant than what's
And
they're disconnected from what's happening now. Like we tell them, man, you kidding me? There's little kids in China that are ready to smoke everybody on mainland America. They are ready to destroy people.
You
They're
were
like,
telling me that yesterday,
and
man.
Listen, man.
They're disconnected, man.
It's the same thing with specific movement. Like heads come up with a new name for something, and everyone wants to claim that they did it, and I'm like, bro, I got video.
It's like funny because Wiggles was telling me yesterday, and we all saw that the kid doing the Wiggle walk on TikTok, claiming that he did. What did he name it again?
The funniest shit just happened now that you brought that up, because I just posted that on Facebook. You can go check the reel. And read the comments. It's like I know somebody could smoke you, Mr. Wiggles. They're saying, well, we've been seeing that movie and you didn't make it up. Me.
Since 2005.
We saw that movie in Beach Street. And we're like, and there's people, you can see the hand gripping the head. There's people that are typing.
Face falling.
And you see the words about to come up. And then they're like, well, couldn't have made that up because Missy did it first.
Right.
Right. It's in the Missy Elliot video.
No, and that's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. The internet is for arguing. Missy did it first. Missy did it first. You did you actually look at the video? Are you looking at the people that you're talking to?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that makes me laugh.
It's
like
funny, man.
They probably don't even go check. They're just like,
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Did you actually watch the video?
Yeah, man.
Or did you just look at the feet?
They thought it was Missy's feet. It's funny shit, man.
It's inspiring.
The internet's off the chain.
When I saw that video, man, I mean, starting dance, like it started in the 90s, b-boying, mainly b-boying. But when I saw that video, man, I was like,
that was a dope video, man.
Yep.
Missy put in
I
work.
was like,
Missy put in.
Yep.
They don't give her enough
I would
credit.
love to meet her.
Not at all.
And she's a dancer.
Yep.
She knows all of us. Missy knows every single one of us. Timberland knows all of us.
She always gives prop to the dancers. I mean,
Yeah, she does.
right?
I'm talking about she knows all of us. When she was at her peak of fame, she knew all of us by name.
Oh, really?
They're street dancers.
Before she even came,
They were in the street dance group.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't realize that.
They told me the whole story.
It's crazy.
That's incredible, man.
They will fanboy on all of us. And girl. Like they'll see all of us and they're like, oh my God. Because they were doing that on the set.
Yeah, I remember when she came to Just a Boo.
Yeah.
Back in New York, I think it was 2013 or 14. She came and hung out at Just a Boo to watch the battles.
That's crazy.
And people were bugging like, yo, Missy Elliot is here. And I'm like, yeah.
She's a dancer.
Have you watched her videos? Like she's always been invested in the dance and the culture. Like
she's
why
so
wouldn't
creative,
she come?
man. She comes. She's the one that they pulls off like all the bags and like she's so creative, so dope, man. All the time putting new stuff. When she puts new stuff, you know it's gonna be
Usher and Missy loyal to their dancers. Loyal to their dancers. They treat their dancers like they're part of the band. They're part of the group. Yeah, God bless them.
Yeah.
But that's funny, you know. Just telling him about the Wiggles walk.
The Wiggles walk, man. I
didn't come up with that.
Laugh because I'm like,
no, the funniest
Mr. Wiggles did that.
I got my stretch story. Dancer during the Just the Boo tour arguing with Stretch about the beat and where's the beat and what is on beat and off beat.
Yeah.
And the dude telling Stretch, well, there's another beat. And he looked at the dude in the Buddha Stretch voice. There is no other beat. It's just the beat.
That's so funny, man.
Yo, the kid.
They're funny. I love watching you.
He turned purple with yellow polka dots, man.
The funniest part about that is his people were behind him like, no, would you just shut up?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And he was trying to argue, and I'm like, and I gave him a shot, like, because he's asking why I didn't vote for him. I'm like, because you're not on the beat.
Right.
And so I'm explaining, I went through the timing, everything. I'm explaining. He's like, no, but, you know, I was dancing to the other beat. And I was like,
my friends were cheering for me at that moment.
But his friends were behind him. When he said that, his friends were just like,
my head. You saw this with me, bro.
one of those.
I said, it's like, about to hit.
There is no other beat. I went through.
No, he didn't say it like that.
He didn't say it like that.
He's being polite. He said, there is no other beat. It's just the beat. You could see the wind blowing, homeboy. turned zebra right there,
I
man.
don't
This
even
shit
know
was-
how dudes can just
Yo,
lose the battle and come and say, "Hey, excuse me, can I talk to you for a minute?"
because
Why
man,
lose
I
my battle?
went through the whole. I spent
This
an entire 5
I don't get
minutes
it.
trying to
breaking down how
explain.
the beat is.
He
There's the
was
hi-hats,
mad
there's
generous
kick,
with the
the
kid.
snare, this, and I'm going through, and he's telling me he's dancing to something else, and I'm like,
What is it? Which
what?
something?
There's nothing else. I just went through the whole damn thing, and you telling me you dancing to something else?
That shit was funny.
That tells me that you just said you off
My
beat.
favorite,
That's
my
hilarious.
favorite Buddha stretch moment.
That is awesome, man.
Yeah, that was just, it was jokes, man.
I remember the time. It was a couple of years ago, man. This, and I think you told me the story, but the guy that came and doing like you were judging, and he came and he literally like calling you out, and then you got up and you just boom, just like smoke him. Do you
Oh,
remember that
that
moment?
was Electric Boogaloo thing. Yeah.
Event.
Mhm.
How do you take that? Like, is that
I was
disrespecting, or
mad
you just,
because
like,
I was about to pick his ass. Like, I'm looking at him. Finally, somebody looked different. It was a brother from Texas.
right?
And his partner, the girl, was getting ready to go in. He didn't really grill me. He grilled Sam.
Mm.
Then he grilled Pete. I don't know what possessed him. And in my mind, I'm like, what's wrong with this dude? Because I'm ready to pick him.
Mhm.
I thought he was amazing. And he grilled me. And I'm like, wait a minute. This dude. And we jump into New York mode immediately. We don't hesitate. It's a wrap. It's wrong moment. But I felt bad because I said, and we spoke after because he's a good cat.
Yeah.
And he did the damage to himself, not me. I put the pressure. All we need to do is put the pressure and the New York pressure, and then you're gonna stumble.
Mhm.
He couldn't take that type of heat. But he's a good brother. He came to me and said, well, and I'm like, I don't know what happened, but bro, that wasn't fair to the sister that wanted it. You were about to get picked, man. I had y'all. You're in my group.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm picking you.
So
I
something
felt
just
bad.
clicked in. Something just clicked in.
No, apparently there was something on the internet. I heard later there was a beef on the internet, and his point wasn't just that, it was to represent Texas. So his point was it was an argument, I guess, between LA and Texas.
Oh, I think I was there
It was
for
that.
that.
Yeah.
That freestyle session, and y'all would.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. It's a few years ago.
I felt bad because I actually was hoping that the girl would be leveled up because I thought he was good. I liked his style, and the girl was ready to dance. I wanted to see her, and I was like, oh, I got my pick,
Yeah.
And then that happened. But no, he's a good cat. We'll never put him on blast. He's a good brother.
Yeah.
We spoke after. Then we had a cipher later, like the next year. I think he came in, and I made sure we got a cipher.
That's nice, man.
Because he is a good cat. He's a family man, and he does a lot for his community. So I'm not that dude that's gonna be like, use this again and try to hype myself up like that. I don't do that. Not my style.
Right. It's good. It's a good story, man. Like I remember watching it, and like I'm thinking that's mad disrespectful, but people see things.
A call out is a call out.
Yeah.
I was just angry because I wanted to pick him, and he didn't let the girl dance. But a call out is a call out.
Yeah.
We don't. We have ways that we can handle call outs.
That's right.
And that was not a good moment because we were on a time limit.
Mhm.
So calling out judges during battles, I'm like, man, why don't you call out fucker that smoked you or something? Calling out judges, it's a little corny, but he explained to me why he did it, and I understood.
Yeah.
I don't argue about call outs. It's street dance,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for like the dance, hip hop and street and club dance, growing this quickly and having so much access to that, what is something that you can, give us advice and to help preserve the culture and make sure that we are sharing the right information to the youth in the community so they can grow?
Well, first and foremost, people got to stop separating the culture from the people. You're going to preserve the culture, preserve the people.
Love the people
there's
first.
there's no culture without the people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. That's why there's a saying, y'all love black culture, but you don't love black people.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stop that.
Yeah.
There is no black culture without black people. There is no culture without the people, period. So if you want to preserve the culture, invest in the people. And when I say the people, I don't just mean black people, because black people, black people are not a monolith. Latino people are not a monolith.
Right,
there are
right.
different kinds.
Mhm.
And everyone brings their own, twist to the culture.
Mhm.
But you got to preserve that, unification of those people,
Yeah.
that's what the culture is.
That's a red line for all of us, especially that what they're doing now on the internet, which I won't even give it energy. But I do find it funny because I was told recently not to go to a certain place by certain people, you know, and I'm like, really? You have the nerve to tell a Black or Latino where to go, what not to do?
And recently,
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna go on your page and see if I see anything that tells about Black Lives Matter, or anything related to the murder of Black and Latinos on the wide scale in America. Because you guys come to America, we don't tell you don't go to USA because they're killing us. You know, so I was recently told not to go somewhere, and I won't mention it politically.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's a lot of audacity because the culture was built on a oppressive society and what we went through in New York, you know, and how the culture came out, specifically, you know, African American and then Latinos. You know, we followed suit. We put in our stamp on the culture.
Right.
And I was like, do you really know what hip hop was about, where it came out of? You know,
Out of the struggle.
and you're not going to discuss that struggle, and if I don't see it on your page, don't ever tell us where we can go or where we can't go. That's our decision, you know, especially with our cultures.
That's right.
You know, you're not going to tell us where to do it, you know.
That's right.
So that happened recently, and I just air that out a little bit.
Also, you just said the struggle part. The thing that irks me is people want to sidestep the work as if there's some magical formula. Like, if I just do this, I'm good. No, you got to put in the work. You know, nobody wakes up and they're just great. You got to you have to work towards that.
That's right.
And you could be great for a moment, and then that moment is gone. If you put in the work, you can stay great
And stay
or
consistent.
become greater. And people don't want to do that. They just want the moment, not understanding that that moment's going to come and go. You know, you want to string those moments together to create a legacy of moments.
Right.
That's greatness. You know, and it irks me because people want to sidestep the work. Like, they think like, okay, I know this, I know a little bit of that, I know a little bit of this, I know a little bit of that. That's good enough. It's not good enough.
No.
Who told you that you know, learning stops? When does it stop?
Which is come back to that point, because he mentioned that I got hit with that whole 80s thing. Yeah, Wiggles, man, I like you better than Wiggles 1. I'm like, well, you think I'm gonna do Wiggles 1 for the rest of my life? Why don't you just call me Wiggles 1?
Yeah.
You know, or yo, when you do your solo, do Wiggles 1. You know, I'm like, do you see you telling Michael Jackson he can't do a song past Beat It?
That's right.
Prince can't do a song past that. Don't play that other shit. Play 1999 4 times in your concert. We don't want to hear nothing. Like, how about
You know,
we're still learning. We are still learning.
Progression.
It is.
Life is progression. Like,
Yeah.
and people don't. They just want to sit in that. Like, that's it. No, that you're limiting yourself, and you're trying to limit me by doing that. I don't want to hear that. Like, you know, it's the same thing that people make me laugh when they talk about the dance. And I'm like, you know, I give love and respect to the people that show reverence for hip hop and hip hop culture, but that's not the only culture. You know, I love funk. I love locking. You know, I love popping. I love breaking. I love house. Like, don't put me in the box because of that's the box that you think that I belong in. I don't belong in a box. I'm from the cipher.
Yeah.
You know, and when I grew up, if they played salsa and you wanted to be a part of that conversation, you had to learn how to
all at each other. In New York, we were all at each other's parties.
You know what I'm saying?
So everybody was doing salsa. If we say
the girls
and everybody was dancing at every block party, it wasn't like don't come to we had mixed community events, dancing salsa, grabbing Latina girls like no problem, dancing like we didn't have them gripes. But now when you step out of New York, there's all of these rules that they're trying to apply, and like I said, the wedges that they're putting in place strategically So through conversations, that wedge was already placed there last year. So now you got to deal with this wedge and that wedge, which, you know, is uncomfortable for us because in New York, we had a different upbringing. We had Italians in our hood. We had Jewish people in our hood, man.
Thank you.
I hung out with Yugoslavian kids. They got it all. That New York was this Black and Latino, you know, blanket of culture. Man, everybody was running with us, man, and they were down. If they was with me, and they had the heart to come to my hood, they were down. Freeze was down. Anybody talk shit about Freeze, I'm like, hold up. Let me tell you something. For one, you won't say it to his face. Number two, went from Ashula Parkway to my hood, the worst ghetto in New York at the time. South Bronx was horrid, bro. And he hung out. And he made it back with his Adidas. With his Adidas on, with his silver chain, you know, and he's Jewish French.
And from the beginning, even the punk community was together with hip hop, right? Is that correct?
Punk community carried us with the punk and the reggae community carried hip hop. They're gonna say it was the record industry with Rappers Delight. It was actually the art community that got involved in deep hip hop. And with that came the punk rock community, Clash and Blondie. Those are our people.
Right.
We're not going to let nobody shit on them because they took the risk of helping push this forward. And then you had the reggae community, you know, where we were dancing at clubs like Negril. Negril was a reggae lounge. So they invited us into the club. They saw how revolutionary this culture could be. So when you hear a lot of tapes, you're hearing it. We're at CBGBs and all these punk spots, and we're at reggae lounges. They gave us the space, so that nobody and the art community embraced hip hop as a whole, and we were hanging out with what's his name, the pop artist,
what's his name?
The one that discovered, and Basquiat was with us too. Well, no, Basquiat was with us before Homeboy discovered him. Basquiat was hanging out with us. Basquiat was running with Rocksteady, hanging out at Rocksteady Hangouts. He was there.
Same thing with Keith Haring.
Keith Haring. Well,
Keith Haring.
Yeah, he played it safe though. Rest in peace, Keith. He was a good brother. He was bombing with chalk. You know, you don't get arrested for that. But he was down. You know, they were down. Madonna was hanging out. Yeah, Madonna was not even a singer. She was a dancer hanging out at the Roxy, right? Madonna was at the Roxy.
The Roxy, the Funhouse. She was always around.
Beastie Boys was a punk rock band. We knew them when they was doing punk rock. They got booed off the stage, you know?
Yeah.
And then they moved in, but they were hanging out. These were people hanging out at the Roxy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I really appreciate you guys being here, man, telling these stories.
The thing about, I just want to clarify, the thing about New York has always been multicultural, you know? And then when you step outside of New York, like the whole Afro-Latino thing, people get it twisted, like, you know, African-American and Latino. Some of us are African-American and Latino.
He's Latino. Emilio. His name is Emilio.
You know what I'm saying? I have to almost say that to people, like,
he's Latino, man. When I tell people, first I tell them, because I discuss graffiti and shit, and then I was like, who's graffiti writers in hip-hop? Nobody. It's only you. We're like, when I name people, I say Buddha Stretch. They go, what? Then when I discuss Latinos in hip hop, and they're gonna look at us and they're gonna like, we're Latino. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all don't know what a Latino is. I said, Buddha Stretch is Latino. What? Yo, I said, Jazzy J is Latino. Jazzy J, the Papa, is Latino. We don't. It's a huge ethnic group, you know, and we don't look past that. You know, look at the movie City of Gods and look at how they had their community in the movie City of Gods in Brazil. And we relate 100% to this community of people who all grew up poor. Poor ain't got no color. You know?
Nope.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
And that's the thing that people don't understand. When you say Black and Latino in New York, that's one community. We literally live like this.
Yeah.
There's no separation.
Right.
I grew up with nothing but Latino people and Caribbean people.
Yeah.
You know, when people talk about like Puerto Ricans can't say the N-word, why? Why not? They've been saying the N-word. First of all, my Puerto Rican friends, their grandmother looked just like my grandmother.
My grandmother same. My grandmother.
You know what I'm saying?
Same.
So who am I to say to tell them that they can't say this word? Your grandmama look just like my grandmama do.
My grandmother is Afro. I got Native, and we got Spanish. It's just normal in the Puerto Rican community.
I got part of my part of my family. They're dark skin.
Yeah.
Dark skin. I don't know why I came in this life,
but that's my point. It's like people get so caught up in this division thing now.
Right.
Not understanding that that's what made hip hop great.
Yeah.
The divisions, when the beat dropped, there ain't no divisions. Nobody was thinking about where you're from until they saw what you could do. That's why show and prove meant so much. Now everybody wants to throw it out there like that. It means something. What have you actually done? You know, for me to even care about where you're from. Like, and then what irks me more is people jump on this bandwagon of, oh, I'm doing it my way. You don't know the original way. So how did you get to your way? You know, like, can I go, you know, as a New Yorker, can I go in the South and tell them how to cook chicken?
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Can I go somewhere? Can I go to Italy and tell them how to make pasta or pizza? Like, stop. You know? And that's the thing that's corny to us, is because, you know, we grew up with all of that. You know, but nobody went in and been like, oh, you got to do it this way. No, we know how to do it multiple ways because we're multicultural. That's not to say that I'm not black, or I'm not. I look at my blackness and it gets put to the side. It never gets put to the side. This is not a costume.
No,
you know what I'm saying? So everything is multicultural. You know, when people like to make things monolithic, and they're not.
It's a lot more complicated than
it's way more complicated.
Trying to describe it. And again, you got dumbasses from all over the place trying to have input. There's only one input on New York culture, and it's from New Yorkers.
That's right.
And we bypass all the bullshit. When we sit and talk, we bypass all that bullshit. And we urge people, if you want to learn more about it, go to New York.
Yeah.
And don't go to the places where you think you're going to find knowledge. Go to a pizza shop in Brooklyn, a pizza shop in the Bronx, and say, anybody here from 82? Anybody here from, and then you're going to see, somebody's going to pick their hand up and say, oh, I was there, and you're going to get some insight that, and you're going to see
it's different, man.
Our community in its original form.
We took our community a few years, almost every year we go there, and then we take them to New York, to Brooklyn too, but we take them to the Bronx, to the jam that Fable used to do.
The park jam.
Yeah. Tools of War. Now it's just the jam in the park with
Grandmaster Cavs.
Yeah. Man, that is when our people here from Red Deer see that, their favorite time.
And that's like, just the taste. That's just the taste of the place with the bass in your face. You haven't. I mean, there's so much more. I mean, that's a beautiful event, and there's so much more that happened that we only through discussions like this that we're gonna remember. You know, I love when the question is right, and I get to remember this moment. You know, because there's so much more that happened that eventually will come out. You know, God willing.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm looking at that pump, and I'm gonna bomb that pump. We already hit we hit your phone booth already.
That's SIBO right there.
Oh well, you know me and Stretch is gonna bomb.
I wanted one so bad. I found them like, this is perfect.
Yeah, you rocked it, bro. I'm feeling this whole vibe, bro.
Yeah, setup is beautiful.
You're a good brother, and we appreciate what you do.
For sure.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to me, man. I'm a youngster here, but I'm trying. You know what? Yeah, we're putting in the work for the community. I love the kids. The kids love to be here. And they love when we bring you guys, and they got questions. They're curious. The parents are curious, and that makes me happy. That's what I want. I want them to ask you directly the questions. So I don't want to, I don't know everything yet. I'm still learning, man. We're all still learning.
Exactly.
But when I bring the source in here, and they hear it directly from you, that's what makes me happy, man.
What's up, man. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming, man. To keeping it real.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys so much.
For sure.
Peace,
it's a wrap.
everybody.
You know